Welcome back to Hat Yai on Friday 21st January 2022, and I haven't done one of these for quite a long time, and one of the reasons for that is that life has been quite restrictive the last year. I wouldn't say it's been difficult, but with two young children at home who aren't old enough to stay there by themselves and need supervision, I have to be at home a lot. My wife still works full-time. And the second reason is that when I have passed through this area in the last year, not much seems to have changed, so I didn't really sort of see the justification for doing an update. However, I've had some comments about doing an update. So yesterday I got a free pass to come down here this morning, so I'm just going to take a quick look around. Where we're looking at is actually the site of the old Hatyai guest house. And someone corrected me in the comments. It was Penang TV, and I couldn't quite remember whether the Hatyai was on this site that's been demolished or just at the back, but it was this site. And the new Hatyai guest house is just a few yards from here. So apologies for that, and thank you for the correction. The old Hatyai guest house had been around for years, and it was a real institution. This was back in the days when there was a banana pancake trail, you know, which went from sort of Singapore right up into northern Thailand, and you get lots of backpackers, and they would stop there to discuss where to buy the best banana pancakes and to exchange banana pancake recipes. Anyway, because that building was being demolished, the lease ran out, so they had to move, and they moved to here. And I chatted with the staff a number of times. There was just like no customers. And now it's closed. It's closed for good. It's now called the New Savoy Mansion. Mansion in Thai is a name for like long stay accommodation. So yeah, the very famous Hatyai guest house is no more. This is around the Santisuk market area, and there are shops and restaurants open, but a complete lack of any foreign tourists in this area. In normal circumstances, there are quite a few Malaysian and Singaporean tourists, but I haven't seen any of those for a couple of years now. And I think the situation is better in other parts of Thailand. My brother lives in Phuket, and he says that tourists are starting to return there. And he went to Samui over Christmas, and there were tourists there. And I've got a friend here who has a wife who comes from Krabi, and they went to Krabi over Christmas, and there were tourists there. So they are starting to come back. But the situation is nothing like it used to be. I think it's totally illegal to drive these things on the road, but Thais don't really pay much attention to laws. As I've said before in these updates, this is Lee Gardens Plaza, and it used to be the absolute epicentre of Hat Yai. This is where all of the retail shops wanted to be, restaurants. There used to be a cinema. This is where all the teenagers hung out, and it was just a really buzzing place with a great vibe. And since Central Festival opened, it started to go downhill, and COVID has completely killed it off. And that McDonald's over there used to do loads of business, and sometimes I would drop the kids off and then have breakfast here. And the last several times I've been here, it's been closed, and maybe it's closed for good. And just opposite Lee Gardens Plaza, we had the Central Department Store, and above that was the Centara Hotel. And I think the hotel's still open, although I'm not sure. The department store was closed quite a long time ago. And there's signs outside saying Praprong Chom Mai. And Praprong is like to renovate. Chom is appearance, and Mai is new. So it's being renovated with a new appearance. But there are no signs of anything going on inside, so I'm really not sure what's happening or whether it will actually reopen at any stage. This is the Grand Plaza Hotel, and it's the very first place I stayed in Hat Yai. When I came here as a tourist in 2002, I stayed here. And then when I came to Thailand to live in 2003, my first port of call was Hat Yai, and I stayed here. I stayed here for about a week or two while I was looking for an apartment, and now it's closed. And as I just said, Lee Gardens used to be the sort of very centre of Hat Yai, and this area was so busy that it was actually quite difficult sometimes to get a room here because it's fully booked, and now closed because there are no customers. Just now, when I was looking at Central Department Store from the outside, I said I thought the hotel above, the Centara, was open. Well, I've just come round to the entrance and all the doors are closed and there are barriers outside, so it looks like the hotel is closed. And before COVID, this was one of the very top hotels in Hat Yai, always busy and always nearly full. When Lee Gardens was the centre of Hat Yai, there were 3 hotels very, very close by, which were very popular with tourists, and I nicknamed them the Golden Triangle. And we've just seen that the Centara is closed, Lee Gardens Plaza Hotel is closed, the Grand Plaza is closed, and this is the third one of that Golden Triangle, the Regency, and that's also closed. So what were Hat Yai's most popular hotels in the past are now all closed. This used to be the Consortium Travel Agency, spelt with a K, and again it was another place that was always busy. They'd arrange trips for people who were passing through Hat Yai, and when I stayed at the Grand Plaza I didn't pay directly because it was quite expensive, so I used to come here to get a hotel voucher, and that way I pay a lot less than the walk-in rate. And not only is it all shut up, which would imply that it's closed temporarily, they've actually taken the signs down, and that would imply that it's closed permanently. And the Malaysian tourists love to get beauty treatments and have foot massages, and there are lots of little shops that offer those services. I've looked at them before in my videos, and most of them are closed. The vast majority are closed. There's one open over there, the Pile Inn. The lights are on, but it looks completely empty. I can't see any staff, and I certainly can't see any customers. Hat Yai, city of happiness. I was walking around this morning, I haven't seen many smiling, happy faces. Here we have a tuk-tuk driver waiting for business, and these guys are really suffering. The tuk-tuk drivers and the motorbike taxi drivers, they used to have lots of customers and now none. So I'm not sure whether he'll be prepared to talk or whether he'll actually understand me. Let's give it a go. Swadee krap.
ครับ
วันนี้มีลูกค้าหรือยังครับ
ได้ไปเซ็นทรัลเฟส1เที่ยวแล้วครับ
Okay, so gone COVID ตายเดือนละกี่บาทครับ
ไปไหนครับ
Gone COVID
ก่อนโควิด
ตายเงินกี่บาททุกเดือน
ก่อนโควิดทุกวันก็1เดือนก็ประมาณ 20,000 น่ะแต่ตอนนี้พอโควิดแล้ว 2,000 ก็หาไม่ได้
so ตอนนี้ 2,000
ตอนนี้ 2,000 ก็หาไม่ได้
Oh my god ลำบากมาก
คนต่างชาติ
Okay ขอบคุณมากครับ
ครับผม
โชคดีครับ
ครับผม
So what he's just told me is that before COVID he was earning 20,000 or more baht per month with his tuk-tuk service, and now he's had one fare today to Central Festival. Now he's lucky to make 2,000 a month, so you know it's sort of one tenth of his income. This salon massage shop is where I met my first girlfriend in Hat Yai. I got involved with a Thai female far too soon, but when you're a drop-dead gorgeous Falang like myself, it's quite difficult. Joking, by the way. And the owner back then was doing really well. This is called KJ1, and she had like KJ2 and JK. She had several shops, and she was making a fortune. And now all of those shops are closed, and her income has gone to nothing. This is Hat Yai's famous Yong market. Still doing business inside and outside, but no matter how bad things get, Thais have still got to eat and still got to buy things. Most of the customers now are just locals, and there are none of the tourists, and in previous times this place was absolutely jam-packed with tourists. Looks very different at the moment. every place in Thailand is famous for a certain type of food. In Nakhon Si Thammarat, it's Khanom Jin, these sort of white rice noodles with spicy curries. In Trang, they sell like this crispy pork. And it took me quite a while to realise what Hat Yai is famous for, and it's actually fried chicken. So it's Gai Tod Hat Yai. And this place is called Mina. And the very famous chain of restaurants in Hat Yai for fried chicken is Desha. So if you come to Hat Yai and you want to eat the food that Hat Yai is famous for, ask the tuk-tuk driver to take you to a branch of Desha. My throat was getting dry, so I just stopped for a drink. And this lady's selling nam som, sod. So nam, water, som, orange. So orange juice, and sod is fresh orange juice. And below that is nam sawarot. And sawarot is passion fruit, so passion fruit juice. I opted for the passion fruit juice, which I really enjoy. And seeing all these red shirts for sale, it just reminded me that Chinese New Year is coming up soon. I'm not sure when. Koto krap? True Jin, Murai krap?
ใช่ค่ะ สิ้นปีค่ะวันที่ 1 เที่ยวค่ะ วันที่31ไหว้ค่ะ ใช่
Okay, so one tin gumpa, ใช่ไหม?
ใช่ค่ะ
Okay, so it's over a few days. She's telling me it's sort of the end of January and beginning of February, and that's a big thing in Hat Yai because there's such a big like native Chinese population here, Chinese Thais, and also a lot of the Malaysians and Singaporeans that visit are also ethnic Chinese. So it's a very Chinese city, this one. I've had some quite interesting conversations with a user called Penang TV, and the user was quite surprised that a lot of things sold in Gimyong Market come from Malaysia. And I've just spoken to a vendor, and she tells me everything comes from Malaysia. So these real potato sticks come from Malaysia, and just looking around the packets of food, this one here, Shah Alam, Selangor, just everything comes from Malaysia. And the strange thing is that Malaysian tourists come here to buy cheap things in Thailand, but actually a lot of things are cheaper in Malaysia, so Thais go to Malaysia to buy certain things. This is inside Gimyong Market. I've done this before in my videos, but it's always an interesting place to come to, a real Aladdin's cave, all these little narrow alleyways packed with food and other goods. Lots of dried foods. Oneนี้ดูอย่างเดียวครับ โอเคครับ พรุ่งนี้สัญญา Lots of Muslim vendors here as well. Sawasdee krap. วันนี้สบายดีไหมครับ
สบายดีค่ะกินช็อกโกแลตไหม
ชอบกินช็อกโกแลต
มาดูสิ
รอก่อนครับถ่ายรูปก่อนจะกลับมาโอเคกลับมาซื้อช็อกโกแลตเนี่ยนี่ชอบกินไหมเนี่ยเม็ดมะม่วงเนี่ยเม็ดมะม่วงคาชูนัทอร่อยนะเม็ดมะม่วงโล350โอเคครับจะกลับมาโอเคขอบคุณครับ This little post here that probably most people just walk past is memorial to Hat Yai's biggest floods. It's all in Thai, obviously. And Yisibsong Pritsajikiyon, so it's the 22nd of November. And for the date, you have to subtract 543. So this was 1988, and that was the flood level. And up here, it's the same date, 22nd of November. And that's the year 2000. That's a few years before I got to Hat Yai. That was the flood level, so quite a bit more. And this one up here is the 1st of November in 2010. And this was when I got hit really badly. We were living in a rented house in the Cape Bad area, and we had 2 meters of flood water in the downstairs of our house, and we got trapped in the house for about 4 days. That was really bad. And since then, the local municipality has done a load of work on the flood defences, so hopefully we won't see any more red lines on this post. As I've been walking around, every vendor has been trying to get me to buy something and telling me how bad the economy is. Sepagit maybe. Yeah, it's been bad for 2 years, and it's likely to carry on for quite a long time yet. There are clothes for sale out on the street, but I really don't know why they're bothering, because there's just no people on the streets. It's empty. And the people who do pass by are not interested in buying anything. You have to admire their optimism. Okay, this lady's selling coconut juice. It's okay, mate. Yeah. I'm not really in the mood for a coconut juice. There's been no relaxation of COVID regulations here. In the UK, Brits have just been told that they don't need to wear masks anymore. This, of course, is political. The Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, has been caught out organising parties, telling people to bring their own booze when he was putting the country into lockdown, and telling people not to socialise. And there's a lot of anger in the UK, and he's now introducing lots of populist policies to try and basically save his job. In Thailand, there's no such thing. There's a bit of a mask culture anyway. Years before COVID, whenever the air got a bit polluted, then Thais would put masks on, and I always found it very strange, but it's perfectly normal to them. So when COVID came along and people started wearing masks, it was just second nature to them. And I've spoken to a few people who have been travelling recently. I haven't had a chance to travel, and they tell me that many hotels are asking for like a vaccination certificate to allow you to stay. When I went to Bangkok to fly, you have to be fully vaccinated or have a test 72 hours before you fly, which I did because at the time I wasn't vaccinated. So it's quite restrictive, and there are still lots of regulations in place. This is sunny Hanuson Road with Lee Garden Plaza at the top. And a few years ago, this place was absolutely heaving with people. Probably the busiest place in Hat Yai. As you can see, it's just deserted now, and it's been like this for a couple of years. The Cathay Guest House used to be a real Hat Yai institution, as did this place. This is the Post Laserdisc. And one of the things that made it really well known was that it was mentioned in the Lonely Planet Guide, and they used to make a big thing about it being mentioned in the Lonely Planet Guide. And there used to be quite a few expats in Hat Yai. I very rarely see a foreigner these days, and this was a favourite place for them to sort of congregate to. And they used to have quite a good Western food menu. And a few years ago they stopped doing Western food, they just do Thai food now. And whenever I come past, it's almost empty. I'm not really a night person, it's difficult to get out at night with the children, but I would imagine that even in the evenings it's fairly quiet as well. This is another massage shop that is open, and there's 3 people working here, and they just told me they've had no customers today. So I'm not really sure why they're open, but as I said before, I do admire their optimism. Okay, Swadee krap, chok dee krap. This is Dr. Nara's plastic surgery clinic. It's open, and there are a lot of these clinics in Hat Yai. Plastic surgery is very popular with Asians. Like in Korea, virtually everyone does something. In Thailand it's very popular, and a lot of the Malaysians and Singaporeans who come to Hat Yai get nips and tucks done because it's a lot cheaper than in their own countries. This is the Swan. A lot of Hat Yai's nighttime venues have now closed. This one's still open. The owner lived in the UK for quite a number of years, speaks good English, and the Western food is quite good. And this place seems to be more popular than the post laser discs with the expats that are still in Hat Yai. This is the West Side Saloon. A lot of bars in Thailand have a sort of Western cowboy theme. And on a previous video, someone asked me a question about this place. When they came to Hat Yai, they went here and really liked it, and is it still open? And I wasn't sure. It's closed now. I wasn't sure whether it might open in the evenings, but I've just asked the staff in the restaurant next door if it's open in the evening, and it's not. So it seems to be closed permanently, and whether it will open again in the future, I really don't know. This is a new place I've never seen before. I'm Burger. So McDonald's near Lee Gardens Plaza is closed, but burger places are springing up elsewhere. This place, Homeless Bar and Grill, was getting some rave reviews a few years ago. The building looks as if it's just about to fall down. It's not a lot better inside, but the food's not bad. They do some burgers and some Mexican food, tacos and things. And as you can see here, there's a Grab driver just picking up some food. And these food delivery businesses have really done well the last few years. And you didn't have them, you know, sort of 5 years ago, 3 years ago. Now we've got Grab and Food Panda and a few others. And these guys wear green jackets, and the Food Panda wear pink. And you see them all the time. They drive like maniacs. But food delivery services are now very popular in Thailand. I mentioned earlier that Hat Yai is famous for fried chicken, and that the best place to go to was Desha. And this is one of the Desha branches. This is the one in the new market, Balat Mai area. But there must be about 5 or 6 branches in Hat Yai. So wherever you are, just ask a taxi driver to take you to the nearest branch of Desha. And the food is good, and it's very reasonably priced. When I first came to Hat Yai in 2002, there was prostitution absolutely everywhere. Just wherever you went, there were girls for rent. And this hotel, the Merlin, it was refurbished a few years ago, and they built this place on the front, Naruto, which was an Upnua, which is basically sort of a bath and massage place. Really, it's just a brothel. That's now closed, and just opposite the entrance of the hotel there was another place called Nice Lady, and that too had a lot of girls, and there were just places everywhere. I'm not interested, but even if someone were to ask me, like, you know, where to go to find such services, I really wouldn't know what to say now. I just don't know where it exists in Hat Yai, because all the places I used to know are now closed. So that blue and pink banner up there is covering the sign that said Nice Lady, and there used to be pictures of some girls. Oh, now it's just derelict. You can see. Oh wow, looks like they've started to demolish it. I'm not sure what it's going to be turned into. It'll probably sit like this for a long time, because at the moment with the economy as it is, there's just no business or anything. Thais like euphemisms, and bath and massage was just a euphemism for brothel. And another one for like the small places is karaoke. You know, if you see karaoke shops, there won't be any singing going on, just girls for rent. And down some of these soys in the new market area, there used to be quite a lot of karaoke places with girls sitting outside, and now it looks like they're all gone. There's just no customers to give them any business. It's just shutters everywhere. Everywhere shuttered up. Hong Wang, Hai Chow, this room available for rent. Health massage. Myself, I haven't been for a massage for well over a year now. And before all this, I used to go quite regularly. You know, when I was picking up my son from school, I would go early, park the car, and maybe go for a massage somewhere. So that's one little pleasure I've been deprived of because of COVID. Quite a nice coffee shop over there, Coffee D if you're in this area. Just up there going towards Diana department store, there's a road that sort of shops that sell fish and equipment for fish ponds and aquariums. I've got a fish pond at home, so I go there quite often. It's a really useful place if you're in Hat Yai and you've got fish, but it probably won't be of interest to many people, so I'm going to turn around and go the other way. I feel sorry for the people who work here to see what's happened, but what's happened in central Hat Yai hasn't really affected me personally. If it had happened just after I came to Thailand as a single man when I was looking to have some fun, then yeah, I would have been quite disappointed. But for a long time now, you know, I've had a family and we live outside the city, so I've very rarely come to this area. We do our shopping in Macro, you know, we'll visit Central Festival, and you know, I very rarely come downtown, so it hasn't affected me personally. But as I say, it's just sad to see that so many people are struggling to make a living now. Pretty crap. More Grab delivery drivers, and the girls do it as well. Oh, another massage, oh, hair station, hair salon that's open. The Rado Hotel, the door's open. Okay, so I'll look at the sign. Okay. Rong Ram Rado Hotel, but Hai Borigan Tam Bokoti. So it's open for business as usual. Quite surprised me. I think I'm near the end of my little update. I'm probably just going to get a coffee somewhere and then head on home. Regarding further updates, a few people have sort of just mentioned, okay, you know, can we have a Hat Yai update? Hat Yai is quite a big place, and it would help if you're a bit more specific. If you want an update on a certain area or a certain place. Otherwise, you know, all I can really do is sort of come down into the central tourist area and do a similar thing. And if I do the same thing in another month or another 2 months, I don't honestly think it would have changed too much. So if you can just be a bit more specific with your requests, that would really help me. Okay, so we're back where we were a little while ago in Lee Gardens, and thank you for watching. Sorry about the lack of content on this channel. It's just been, I wouldn't say life has been difficult for me, but it's just been restrictive, having to stay at home taking care of the kids doing their online learning, so it's quite difficult to get out. But I'll try and get some more content up fairly soon.